There's a creature around here somewhere, but I must be careful. I cannot get in another fight with Barbra Streisand. That woman is just too powerful. I can't tell what it is. Oh, don't make me go undercover as a school person. God dang it. Alright guys, it's time for our weekly Doctor Who fix. Okay, so in this new episode of Doctor Who, we get a good look at the Coal Hill School. And it looks like that cool, old school, private school kind of feel. I know I might have been in a similar looking school at times, depending on the room really, which was kind of weird. But really, in summary, Clara's worn down. She's burnt out, she's ready to throw in the towel, but she doesn't want to, because who doesn't want to throw in the towel? She's ultimately got to choose between her relationship and her best friend. That just leaves her with a complex, as it would for anybody. Clara is doing her Clara thing. Meanwhile, what's throwing the monkey wrench in the relationship is the Doctor. The Doctor is implanting himself in the school to try and find a piece of alien technology, and he's disguised as the groundskeeper, and those were really funny scenes. I loved scenes where you just see, like, the Doctor's head pop up. Also, some Easter eggs that I loved in the episode. They made a River Song reference about how he lived with otters because they had a fight, and I want to see that. It also makes you wonder, is that a part of the Matt Smith timeline of River Song? Or is this River Song when the Doctor's been off doing his own thing with him right now? And that makes me wonder if maybe it's a hint that we're going to be seeing some River Song soon? Please? I know she's probably not going to be in this season, but who knows? A boy can dream. So, there's a new alien in this one. I can't figure out for the life of me what its name is, but it's essentially a giant spider bot with a weird Borg head. And it's cool, it's targeting people, and it's gonna try and kill them. And Clara's trying to tell the Doctor her boyfriend is Danny Pink, and I'm actually warming up to Danny Pink a little bit. In this episode, I liked the chemistry. The only thing is that the Doctor gets grumpy. Throughout this episode, the Doctor and Danny Pink just have, like, these yelling matches, because the Doctor doesn't even want to acknowledge Danny exists. And Danny just doesn't like the Doctor anyway because he's being a dick. The Doctor's kind of a dick in this episode, and that's not me trying to be funny. He really is just being a dick, and I liked that he was. I thought it was good, but he keeps emphasizing just the soldier, and I like that they kind of had this motif of people will put a stigma on someone before they actually meet them. That's ultimately the moral, I figured, of this story on this episode. Another thing that I really like about this episode is you see how the Doctor's protective of Clara with her dating life. At first I thought maybe it was jealousy, but I really don't think so. I think he feels like a father figure at times now that he's regenerated, but you can kind of see him almost not wanting her to date, but at the same time happy for her, kind of like a dad. And I really thought that was an interesting mechanic to the episode, because, I don't know, I just liked that we're seeing the human life of hers. It's not just all about the Doctor's life. And I think that that's just really cool. I like that, personally. I don't know about you guys, but I like seeing just the ordinary life while the Doctor's doing his weird thing. And I definitely enjoyed the protectiveness that he has towards Clara. I mean, you can see he really cares. I did love that he thought that this one guy who had a bow tie looked like his previous regeneration, so he thought, clearly, oh, she's dating the guy who looks closer to me. And then when he figures out that it is the teacher, and he basically tells Clara, you have something to explain to me, because you explained everything to him. but not to me. I loved that because it shows that he's almost conflicted, where it's kind of like, oh, so this is who you'd pretty much rather be with. And it's hard because you can kind of see where Clara could be leaving the show, but at the same time, I don't know, it's hard, and you kind of feel for the Doctor when you see his facial expressions, and Peter Capaldi does that perfectly. I definitely think that this episode is one of the lighter, more fun episodes, as opposed to a heavy hitter. Granted, this did have some really important key elements in it, because when the monster's defeated, there's actually a lot less of the monster than I thought there was going to be in this episode. There is not much monster action. All of a sudden, it goes into that weird fire tornado of death, and then the Doctor's like, oh, we won, but not really, because it's coming back in 3 days. And you're sitting there going, wait, what? And then you're spending a lot of time with them, and then the robot comes back for, like, 2 minutes. So, which is such a badass 2 minutes, by the way. Clara is waving the sonic screwdriver to lure it into one room while the Doctor's trying to talk to it. That scene is crazy intense. It's shooting its guns at him, and then Danny Pink sees it and starts chasing after him. And guys, what Danny Pink does is completely out of the realm of possibility, I think, anyway. But he literally, like, jumps 6 to 8 feet in the air, does a front flip, distracting the alien, and then lands on the other side. Apparently physics just disappeared for about 5 minutes. Really the real meat of why we're here to talk, because ultimately, very good, very enjoyable, light, fun episode. What we're really here to talk about is the police officer woke up in that weird white room, and then all of a sudden the guy basically was like, well, of course, don't you know where we are? I mean, some call it like paradise and the nether sphere, so we know that they're in the nether sphere, which means one of the episodes coming up is titled Journey, I believe it's Journey into the Nether Sphere, and so I have a feeling that that's going to be Doctor's first conflict with Missy, but when you see Missy in this episode, my God, is she creepier. I mean, before she looked like Psycho Mary Poppins, but this time she just looked pissed and that she has something to do. And he was sitting there going, I'm sorry, my client's abnormally busy. I want to see where that ties in, because I bet it's something the Doctor did. Maybe she actually took that robot and put it on Earth to try and, like, test the Doctor with little, like, feelers. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it has a connection, and Missy looked pissed off, and I don't know, she just looked so creepy the way she stared, like, at the dude, and that makes me also wonder how many people are in this heaven with her. They mentioned paradise, and which makes you wonder, is this basically a supernatural type realm that they are adopting that name? I think that this nether sphere and this promised land that we saw, which clearly was a planet, I think that this might be inside of its own, like, pocket dimension, and rules just don't seem to apply there. So Missy and all of these others, they can do what they want. As for how they're materializing and grabbing people, could it really be heaven? I mean, I don't think Moffat is ready to tackle that kind of a story yet, but do you really think Moffat would start writing something about heaven? And maybe heaven got hijacked? Like, are we really going to go there with, we're going to show the afterlife, or the Doctor Who version of the afterlife? I don't know, but we've played with the Doctor's religious values earlier in the season, where in that first episode, where he basically says, no, it's not real, it's nothing, kind of thing. So it makes me wonder if they're going to play with that. I feel like they will. I feel like they're going to, if it's not like a real heaven, I feel like they're genuinely going to convince the Doctor that this is heaven or some form of the afterlife. That's my big theory right now. I believe Missy sent that spider down to Earth, that weird robo-spider thing. And I don't know. I'm still in the theorizing phase, obviously. We haven't really gotten to the meat of the Missy story arc. I can't wait to see the next episode. Did you guys like this episode? Let's post some comments and some discussions. I'm not going to go into too much of my Who is Missy theories on this one again. I mean, I just gave you my chunk. But ultimately, we're just going to rehash the same stuff until they tell us. So when they bring in more plot points for it, I will happily do so. So, see you guys tomorrow on Sunday for the strain. But until next time, allons-y!